Hey everyone, this is Erica with Save On Designs, and I have a super fun project today. I know it's been kind of buzzing around. Smokey Hill has released something called Freshie Paper, which is kind of a fun, interesting name, but we love it. So the idea behind this is basically a paper that you can put essential oils on, and they hold that smell and release it slowly, all of that kind of good stuff. And I did have some essential oils sitting here. Oh, there they are. So I have used essential oils for years. I was a distributor with Young Living at one point, taught classes all about the science behind them and all that kind of stuff. So this, when I knew they were releasing that, I got excited because that really kind of fell into another area that I have a passion about. So literally as soon as they opened that up for a core option, I jumped on it, ordered a bunch, had more of a car freshener ideas in mind, which I still may do. So I ordered a lot of trees and so we may have to do some mountain theme stuff as well. So these are going to come in the same size as all their other materials. I believe this is 12 by 19, maybe 12 by 18. And as you can see, it's super thin. I did a little kind of unboxing video about this. It is, I think, the thin one. I know I can't really show it here, but it is kind of transparent, at least the light, oops, sorry, dropping my papers. The light will shine through it a little bit, so I think that really opens it up for a lot of lantern and nightlight and things like that. I already see people jumping all over the art scenes on this and using those in all those nightlight files that are out and running around. I have never really gotten into the nightlights. I do have a couple ideas that nobody else has really done around those, but down the road sometime. So yeah, I got a lot of fun. Look at, I love this one. Great colors. Anyway, this is what it looks like. You can kind of see in here, it's not too thick. I would say cardstock is really what I think. This is the thin one, and I ordered before they even got the thicker one up. I didn't know there was a thicker one. And so I got the thin, which is actually going to work better for what I did here with this little project. Talking to Casey a little bit, I think the thicker, the idea behind that was maybe it would be more freestanding, like maybe you could just cut a shape and hang that in your car with some essential oils on it, that sort of thing. So I think that's, oh, I was going to talk about cutting it. This is the only thing that kind of has not been super great, and it's not really bad either. When you lay it in the, it's paper, so it kind of gets sort of bent, so you're going to have to store this flat for sure. And it doesn't lay perfectly flat on my honeycomb. So I did put a couple magnets on it in a couple places, and that helped too, but I thought I had my settings all figured out and perfect. And then I went to cut again, and they didn't cut all the way through, and then I couldn't find scissors, so I had to trim out the pieces that didn't go all the way through. I had to flip it over and cut with an X-Acto knife. This will cut with scissors. I think somebody had asked if it would cut with a rotary cutter. Absolutely, it's paper, a paper product. And so what I ended up doing is I just went with a little bit higher settings. If your laser has a cardstock type setting, that would probably be the place to start. I started with my flex setting, so I have an X-Tool P2, and I cut flex at 15-15 and one pass. So I started there. Didn't really need quite that much, so I slowed it down. I think I ended up at 20-10, and it worked, and the next time it didn't. So I'm going to keep it around 20 or 15 power, 20 speed is what I had. So really close to the flex. Again, that's a good place to start if you have a CO2 laser. If you've got a diode laser, your flex settings probably aren't going to line up, because I know the flex has a lot. Sometimes takes multiple passes. Takes a little more with a diode. So again, test and see. So when I got the paper and it just kind of, I was thinking about the things that I like to use essential oils for, things like that. And I thought of like a closet hanger or a, like a sachet thing that you throw into your clothes drawer or things along those lines. So that's kind of where I went with this. And I'll show you my first prototype. I have kind of a double hanger there. I just cut it twice. Well, I cut it and then reversed it and did it that way. I don't like the double hanger, so I took that off. This is a lot of material, and I really hated that we had that whole inside, and I said, well, why don't we use up that inside too? So I kind of created another little layer. Also didn't like that the back had to be open. You know, maybe then you put paper on both sides, because one side of the paper is just white. And I didn't really like that. You could still do that if you wanted to put them back to back. So I made a back that instead would go on like that and sort of let that air flow through to get that scent out. And then I said, well, let's do something else with this middle piece. So when you cut these, there's an option for everything in there. So you can cut these this way. It'll come out of the middle. And then what else was I gonna, then when I was putting a couple of these together, I thought, well, maybe I don't like the hanger on the front piece. Maybe I like it better on the back piece. So I added that option too. There's just tons and tons of choices in there. I was doing, I've got 3 simple flower design engraves, and maybe we'll do more if you guys like these. I'll definitely do something with mountains and trees, because I've got a ton of paper for that. This one, I did engrave on most of these, and I did do the paint fill, which is just the Expo marker. So I was just going to do a really quick recap of what that is if you haven't seen that before. I'm just going to grab this napkin. So basically what I've already done, oops, sorry, I think, nope, I didn't lose it. I bought my mouse and lost my screen. And let me grab a bigger one so you guys can see a little better. Is basically, I've engraved in this. You can kind of see it's down pretty deep. And then I'm just gonna go over it with that Expo marker that is gonna stick to the MDF that we've engraved down into, but it is not gonna stick so much to the pre-finished material. So this is eco-coated wood that I'm using. I do not do the paint fill on the Baltic or the birch or the maple with the actual eco-coated wood, because it does tend to run into those grains, and there's really nothing we can do about it because it's wood and it's grains. And maybe it's happening on the walnut and sapele, but you can't see it. So, but you're basically just coloring that in, and then I've just got a plain napkin here. And I'm just going to wipe it off because it doesn't stick to that finish. And if there's any, it will stick to any laser schmutz that you have left that you didn't get cleaned off. So if you do find that, I find that happens a little more with the eco woods, that you get kind of that residue that stays in all those grooves. I just go back with the rainbow cleaner, which is what I use to clean all the eco woods and eco-coated woods from that laser schmutz, and I just go back over that and get any last little icky bits off of there. So I think that definitely makes it pop. I haven't cleaned all of these. This one I did a score design on versus like this one that's an engraved design, and I actually think I kind of like this. It'll take a lot less time. I think I did a big one in the cherry too for those leaves. I really like that, so I'll try it with the other flowers too, see if I like that, and I may switch what I make to this because I think it still looks really nice, and it's going to take significantly less time than the engraves do. One other thing I will mention, if you're in my group, you might have seen I did a little test on, I used lemon oil and purification because knowing what I know about essential oils, specifically lemon, it will eat a styrofoam cup because it likes plastics. Or it likes or dislikes, I guess. And that was always a demonstration I used when teaching to talk about detoxing and whatnot. But I was kind of concerned, could the oils affect the finish on different products? So if you're using something besides Smokey Hill's products, you might want to check that. What I did find is I put like 2 or 3 straight drops. They weren't diluted at all. And I'm trying to find, I may have just tossed them out, on eco wood, eco coated wood, and acrylic, just to see how they would react. Let them sit overnight. I thought the lemon would do more than it did, but it is a pretty volatile oil, which means it evaporates quickly. So it might have lost a little bit of strength before it ate through a finish. Purification, though, did go through the eco woods and kind of ate up that top finish. So I'm actually not too worried about it being on the paper and touching something. I don't think that's because it's going to be diluted, it's going to be spread out. But if you were to get a drop on something that you've made and not notice it, it could pull up a finish if it sat there a while. But I didn't see that on the eco-coated woods. So that's why I chose to do most of mine on eco-coated woods. Plus, I think they're just, I love the eco woods for a lot of reasons, but for this project, I just thought the real wood was a little classier. So let me show you basically how they go together. Super simple. This is 1/16 MDF, and I've got 3M on both sides. You can definitely glue if you want, but this is so much easier. And let me find the cherry. So I've got the front and the back. This little guy. Super easy when I'm lining anything up with 3M. If I have a flat surface on one side, I'm definitely going to use that to get that where I need to be, feel around with my fingers to get it the rest of the way on. 3M is really going to adhere when you give it pressure. You usually have a little bit you can pull off, but sometimes not. And this one, I didn't get lined up, and I tried to kind of pull it apart, and what I ended up doing was pushing the end together instead. So I had to pull it apart, and then it never quite went back together, which is fine because this was my weird double hanger one anyway. So we are just going to pull that off, put this on. Now for these, guys, well, I'll talk about that in a second. Let's get this lined up and done. See, that one didn't line up really well, so we're gonna be able to pull that apart and start over a little bit. All right, so there we go. The little inserts, part of the file, are sized so that they slide right in there. And look how cute that is with that pretty, I'm thinking is this the clay color design and the neutrals? And that looks really cute, I think. My thought on these, and I'll show you kind of how I think I'm going to sell them and present them, market them, merchandising, I guess, with these is, actually, let me go into cost breakdown really quick, because I know some of you guys like that. I thought I had a piece that was already cut, so I could, here it is. So I could show you, I know this isn't going to show really well, but kind of to show you how I got it all on one piece of the 12 by 19 wood. And I got 1, 2, 3 full hangers, and each of those is going to have the little bit in the middle. So there'll be 3 designs there, or vice versa. Maybe you want this to be the back and then put the designed ones, because they come both ways in the file. Put those there, so you'll have 3 big ones, and then 3 small ones. So then I had to put 3 small backs over here, and then I got 2 more. I don't know why I did them this way, because they could easily go this way as well. So that gave me basically 3 big ones and 4 small ones out of 1 sheet of eco-coated wood. This is walnut. I think it's one of the pricier ones, $12.50. So we got those out of there. Then we've got the paper, which for the thin paper is $8 a sheet. And easily I could get 4 pieces for each one of the hangers that I did out of 1 sheet of the paper. This isn't one I cut that many, but I did line them all up, and I could get, so that would be 12 large pieces and 16 small pieces out of 1 sheet Freshie paper. So based on that and the fact that that's about what fits, so again, this is the thin one. If you were using the thicker paper, you probably wouldn't be able to get this many in with 1/16. You could maybe do it with 1/8 though, if you wanted to do the thicker paper or give more pieces. So I'm thinking, how am I gonna explain what this is so people could see it without me having to be there and explain it? So I made these cute little tags. They say create your own air freshener, add your own essential oils, and maybe I'll say includes. It just says 4 sheets of reusable, oh no, it does say included. 4 sheets of reusable essential oil paper included. And all I did was just add that to the little pile of Freshie paper that I put in there and slide it down. And now those can hang. They don't have to have any additional packaging. And this explains what it is, still shows the pattern. So that's how I'm gonna market them. This one I just tied like a little, it's like a jute cording stuff that I use on some of my ornaments at Christmas time. So this kind of, I will probably just, I made it long. Somebody could hang it from their rearview mirror if they wanted to. They could hang it in a closet. They could put it in a drawer, but it does a couple things. It kind of finishes it off, makes it so I could hang it to display, and gives them some of those options, and it keeps the pieces from sliding out. So that's my marketing strategy. Cost-wise, I kind of guesstimated $5 in materials for the big ones. Hold on, let me get to my spreadsheet really quick and double check this. Yeah, I split it out. I think I came up with 1 sheet of eco-coated wood at $12.50, 1 sheet of 1/16 MDF, 2 sides of 3M, which I usually put at a $2 a side. I think I buy it in the bulk rolls, so it might be a little cheaper, or it might be a little more expensive for you if you're not getting it in bulk. Freshie paper, 1 sheet for $8. And I usually say if I do hangers or beads or hardware, I just add 50 cents per item, just as a general cost. It might not be exact, which comes up to $29 to make basically 7 of these. If we kind of split that out, weight the big ones a little more than the small ones, I say $5 for a large in materials and $3.50 for a small. And I'm probably going to go at least $20 on the bigger ones, maybe 22 or 23. And you know, so that's a pretty good markup, over $5 in materials. And I don't know, 15, 16 on the smaller ones maybe. I haven't quite decided that yet, but I think they look nice, they present well. They get 4 extra sheets in here, or 4 sheets in here to reuse. I did talk to Casey a little bit about how reusable they are. I think if they're drying out in between, I know they've been testing and reusing and reusing and reusing. So I don't think they don't disintegrate easily, at least over time. And I know they're in a much more humid climate than I am, so I felt comfortable saying that they were reusable. And I think that's pretty much all I had to talk about. I put one together. We talked about the fill and maybe going score versus engrave. We did the costs. So yeah, I think this is a really, really fun, something different that's not out there, that you could definitely market that people haven't seen. So I'm excited to kind of see how it does that way with some different ideas. I have some other ideas on how to use it as well, which will probably be forthcoming. So thanks everybody. And if you happened on this video and are interested in joining my laser group, which is Save On Designs, Laser Love with Save On Designs is on Facebook, and my Etsy store is Save On Designs as well. And we have all kinds of files up there, including this one. So thanks so much, guys. Bye.